My name is Linda and I am 28 years old. Every morning I wake up at 6, make coffee in my small kitchen, and watch the sunlight slowly fill the room. I drink in silence. I live alone and I have grown used to it. My life is simple and quiet, but somewhere beneath the surface, something feels missing. I just never knew what it was. I work in a small bookstore and I love it there. I love the smell of the pages, the sound of people flipping through books, and the way someone's face changes when they find exactly the story they were looking for. I know the regulars by name. I know their favorite sections, sometimes their whole stories. But even surrounded by all of that warmth, I often feel alone. Like I am standing just outside a window, watching life happen on the other side. Then one ordinary afternoon, David walked in. He moved slowly through the store, looking at everything with quiet curiosity, as if each shelf held something worth discovering. I noticed him right away. He paused at a book I had just placed on display and smiled. Not a big, dramatic smile, but a small, genuine one. That kind of smile that feels like a warm light in a cold room. I said hello, he said hello back. His voice was calm and steady, and somehow that was enough to make me feel comfortable. We started talking about books. At first, it was simple. Do you have this one? I think so. Let me check. But over the following days, the conversations grew longer and easier. He asked about my favorite stories. I asked about his. We laughed together quietly, without any pressure or pretense. I did not feel nervous around him. I did not feel the need to be anything other than myself. I felt something I had not felt in a long time. Safe, he began coming to the store regularly. Some days we talked. Other days he simply sat and read, while I worked at the counter, and we existed together in a comfortable silence. Sometimes he would glance up from his book and smile at me without saying a word. I looked forward to those moments more than I could explain. Slowly, without meaning to, I began falling in love with him, gently, quietly. The way the tide rises without making a sound. But I was afraid. I kept asking myself the same questions in the dark. What if he does not feel the same way? What if I say something and everything changes? I did not want to lose what we had. Those small conversations, those quiet smiles, those moments that had somehow become the best part of my days. So I stayed silent. I kept my feelings carefully hidden, like something fragile I was afraid to drop. Then one rainy afternoon, everything changed. The store was empty. Rain tapped gently against the windows, and I was arranging books at the back when I heard him walk behind the counter. He placed a hand lightly on my shoulder, and my heart stopped completely. I turned to look at him. His expression was open and a little nervous, which surprised me. Then he said, quietly and clearly, "Linda, I like you more than I probably should." I was scared to say it, but I cannot keep hiding it. I felt tears rise in my eyes before I could stop them. I had not known I was waiting for those words, until the moment I heard them. I took a slow breath and said, "David, I like you too. I have for a long time. We stood there for a moment, just smiling. The rain fell softly outside, and inside I felt something open up, something warm and wide and full of light. After that day, nothing rushed. We did not suddenly become a different kind of story. We simply began walking through life together, one small step at a time. We shared quiet breakfasts and long evening conversations. We learned each other's habits, fears, and small joys. Sometimes we disagreed. Sometimes we sat in silence for hours. But we always came back to each other, always with the same steady, gentle ease. I used to think love was supposed to arrive like a storm, loud, sudden, impossible to ignore. I used to think that if it was real, you would feel it like fire. But what I found with David was nothing like that, and it was more beautiful than anything I had imagined. Love, I learned, can be quiet. It can grow in the smallest moments, in a shared cup of coffee, in a hand held without a reason, in eyes that meet across a room and linger just a second longer than they need to. Love can be patient, it can be soft, and when it is real, it does not need to be loud. Now, I wake up every morning, make 2 cups of coffee, and wait for him. We sit together in the early light, sometimes talking, sometimes saying nothing at all. I feel full in a way I did not know was possible. I feel safe, I feel, for the first time in my life, completely at home, not because of a place, but because of a person. I am Linda. I spent years feeling like something was missing, never knowing what it was. And then one quiet afternoon, it walked slowly through the door of my bookstore, smiled at a book on a shelf, and changed everything. True love does not always arrive in a rush. Sometimes it comes gently, like sunlight breaking through clouds after a long grey morning. Sometimes you do not even recognize it at first, but when it finally touches you, softly, steadily, without any noise, you understand it. You understand that this is what you were waiting for all along, even when you did not know you were waiting at all.